your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Late night, early morning, a victory for the Red Raiders, as it was just after midnight when the final out was recorded this morning for Texas Tech defeating Texas 6-4 at the Big 12 tournament. Jamie, just going through the chat line last night, I see that you had a listener from Kenya last night, as Mark was listening in Kenya at Camp Simba.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I did too. I do too. I wonder what took him to Kenya, and I wonder what Camp Simba was all about. I wonder if he was on a African safari or what was up with that. That's pretty cool. That's something. You have a little Mountain Dew going this morning to help you. It was didn't take long for you to spend the night last night.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. Hey, we had discussion yesterday about the Double T scoreboard. People were commenting about the backside of it being blank, and I had commented about how, well, it looked to me like it was the same thing on the front and probably would be on the backside as well. And I happened to be over by the stadium last night. I was going to an event that I thought was at the Fraser Alumni Pavilion, and it turned out it was at the Marquette. But as I was going by the stadium, I looked up at the big new Double T scoreboard, and sure enough, it's got Texas Tech on the back and Red Raiders written in script, just like the old one. So fear not, everybody. Everything's okay. It's not blank on the backside. So just want to calm the waters this morning for anybody that was wringing their hands yesterday over the Double T scoreboard. So all is well, Jamie. All is well.
If you're someone that is in the need to have Chuck Heinz calm you down, man, you are living an interesting life.
Do you think I'm a little out there, Jamie, on the edge of the diving board, so to speak?
Hey, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You're an excitable fellow.
I can be. I can get drawn off sides. I've got all kinds of faults and all kinds of quirks and all those kinds of things.
All kinds of funsies.
Pepsi Man's on the move. He's in Lincoln, Alabama, wherever that is. Like JL said, it's a great day to be a Red Raider. That's what Pepsi Man said last night or early this morning. Actually, 6 minutes ago. He said, what an awesome game. I know I'm tired, but it was worth it. Keep it going. This from someone that knows. Camp Simba is a military base. The front lines are listening. Thank you for your service. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. No question. So, and, it's just a reminder of what is ahead this weekend with Memorial Day. I mean, I know it's 3-day weekend for all of us, but there's a reason for that as well. We need to keep that in mind. Hey, the track team is on the move, Jamie. They're in New Orleans, both the men and the women. Actually, no, they're in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm sorry. The release was from New Orleans. This is the NCAA West first-round preliminaries. They're this week in Fayetteville. They begin today, and they continue through Friday. The Tech women will compete tomorrow through Saturday. So here's how it works. You have to make the cut to the quarterfinal, and then you have to finish in the top 12 to secure a spot in the 2024 Outdoor Championship meet in Eugene, Oregon, June 5th through the 8th. The throwing and the field events, the athletes are only allowed 3 attempts to secure a top 12 spot. In the distance races like the steeplechase, the 5K, and the 10K, athletes will only run once with the top 12 moving on to Eugene. So Tech has a number of entries. On the men will enter this meet ranked 6th. The Tech women are at number 12. but you've got 2 in the 100. You've got 4 in the 200. You've got a couple in the 400, 1 in the 1500, 1 in the 5K, 1 in the 10K. In the 110-meter hurdles, you have 4, including Caleb Dean, who, will probably be expected to advance on and then compete for a national championship. Same thing for him in the 400 meters. And then there's a team of 4x100, 4x400. You got 3 high jumpers. You got 3 pole vaulters, 2 long jumpers. I mean, it just speaks to the depth of this team and part of why they won an indoor championship and will compete for one on the outdoor side as well. You got 3 in the triple jump, a shot putter, 3 discus throwers, and a hammer thrower. I mean, that's a lot of guys that you're taking to this meet. And obviously not everybody's going to move on, but, if you get a majority of those in the top 12, I would think that you would have a shot at winning a national championship in the outdoor side. Not to put any pressure on, but man, that's impressive when you have that long of a list that are moving on to this meet in Fayetteville. Okay, so
yeah, no doubt, and obviously, just like always with that program, high expectations. So none of it would surprise you, right?
No, none of it. It's just expected, right? It's just, it's just what they do over there, and you can't, you can't take it for granted. But sometimes it feels like that we do take it for granted a little bit. So, somebody says this: I could not stay awake. Could we get the call on the 9th inning home run again? I'm sure that we will. Yeah, we'll have that for you again this morning. As Jeff will have that in the Sports Center, and that's going to be readily available today. But it was a good one, and Cade McGee with a big home run, and then with a big play to end the game. So, it's like what you say, Jamie. Sometimes it's hard getting 27 outs, but the Red Raiders made it look. It was hard, but they made it look easy in the 9th last night, right?
It was definitely hard. No doubt. They made plays, and that was nice to see.
Yep.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Stay in sports history. Today is Wednesday, May the 22nd, 2024. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Looking at 1930 to get us started this morning, guys. Yankees future Baseball Hall of Famer first baseman Lou Gehrig becomes the first to hit 3 home runs 3 times as the Yankees outscore the Philadelphia A's 20-13. The teams combined for a then record 10 home runs. 1946, Yankees turn a triple play and defeat the Tigers 5-3. 1962.
I thought there was going to be more to that. I thought you were going to have something more to that. Nope.
1962, Roger Maris walks 5 times with a record 4 intentionally in a 9-inning game. 1968, Pittsburgh Pirates future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Willie Stargell hits 3 home runs, a double, and a single in a 13-6 rout of the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
If he'd have stopped on third for one of those, he'd have hit for the cycle. That probably would have been selfish of him.
Probably so. Yeah.
1985, Pete Rose scores his 2,108th run, passing Hank Aaron as the National League run scoring leader. 1990, Andre Dawson receives a record 5 intentional walks in a game. And in 2019, the number 7 Texas Tech baseball team opened up a 5-1 lead through 3 innings and defused a late push by Kansas State for a 7-4 win to open up the 2019 Big 12 championships. It's National Vanilla Pudding Day and National Paloma Day.
I'm out on the vanilla pudding. I don't know what Paloma is.
It's a tequila, lime, and grapefruit flavored soda cocktail.
Okay.
Usually served with a lime wedge.
Okay. come out on that. Jamie, vanilla pudding?
Yeah, I'm definitely out on that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that Jeff talked about, yeah.
Happy birthday to the guy that started this.
So Harrell in the shotgun from the 28 to throw. Goes to the right side for Crabtree. It's caught. He breaks. Oh, he's the one. Touchdown, Red Raiders. Unbelievable. Touchdown, Red Raiders. Michael Crabtree has done it.
Happy birthday, Graham Harrell, turning 39 today.
Okay, I was trying to figure out which one of those guys.
Well, the guy that started it.
I was as well. The first voice I heard was Brian Jensen. I thought it was his birthday.
That's me too.
No, his birthday is December 31st.
Oh, okay.
He's a New Year's Eve baby. Novak Djokovic is 37. Jillian Edelman is 38. And Tommy John is 81.
Wow. Okay.
And on this day, 1972, President Richard Nixon arrives in Moscow for a summit with the Soviet leaders. During a week of summit meetings with the Soviet leaders, the United States and the USSR reached a number of agreements, including one that led the groundwork for a joint space flight in 75. And they signed the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, those most significant of the treaties reached during the summit. The treaty limited the United States and the Soviet Union to 200 anti-ballistic missiles each, which were to be divided between two defensive systems. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, it's time for your lucky local winning word today at 6:45. We give you this word so you can go to WT973.com, enter it in. The more times that you enter, the more of a chance that you have to win. It's not a national contest. It's a local one. So those of you that move around here in the 806 can win some cash like Mary Rosales did yesterday. She won $500 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone because she entered in a lucky local winning word. And your word this morning at 6:49 is Mariners. Mariners is your word this morning at 6:45. Go to Double T 97.3.com, enter that in, and you too could win like Mary did yesterday, because you might win tomorrow. It's all from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, making your house a home. Okay. So Kyle asked off the Yates Flooring Center chat line what time Tech plays today, and so is it 7 or 7:30 tonight, Jamie?
7:30.
7:30. Okay, 7:30. I think I said 7 earlier, so that's my fault.
Well, 7's pregame.
Right, I think I said 6:30 pregame, but at any rate, so 7, that's the scheduled time, and it may get pushed back a little bit because the other games might run long, like what happened last night. Both managers were asked during the game about that, and didn't really seem to bother either team. Jamie, I mean, they just kind of hung out, it seemed like, and got loose, and just they had 30 minutes after the game ended, so didn't seem to bother anybody, did it, in terms of starting the game late?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just kind of part of the deal. You know it can happen, and you have to live with it.
Yeah, you just deal with it as best you can. Excuse me. And make it happen.
If you let it get to you, you obviously give the other team a major advantage. So
yeah, you just got to keep your wits about you. And what did you do with your extra time? Did you get some popcorn, get a hot dog, get a Mountain Dew, just, kind of organize yourself a little bit?
I just watched the game.
Just watched the game, kind of enjoyed it,
yeah.
Sat there in your spot. Were you in Eric Nadell's chair last night, or were you in somebody else's?
Somebody else's.
Okay. I wondered, I had a thought, when Austin Green hit the 3-run home run, I thought maybe if you guys were in the Eric Nadell suite that it would have become a 3-run Jimmy Jack, but I knew better than to ask you that. I knew that didn't enter into your mind at all, that it was just a 3-run home run. Was it?
Yeah, I'm not a broadcaster thief, Chuck.
Yeah, a broadcaster thief. Right. 6:52 this morning here on the morning drive. Somebody asked to recap the game. Well, to recap the game, you got the 3-run home run from Austin Green that tied up the game at 4. And then you got a 2-run home run by Cade McGee in the 9th inning. And you held them off in the bottom of the 9th, and you won the ball game. And you got pretty good pitching performance out of your starter last night. And Kyle Robinson was able to get you through 5 1/3, and the game was tied. And had a couple of relievers come in and do the job, and finished off the Longhorns. So it was kind of a clean game, well-played game. And you got the long ball to go out for you last night, and you hope for more of that tonight, right? When you take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So we'll see what happens tonight. You win tonight. How do you like your chances moving forward? Do you like them pretty good?
I mean, you have to win this tournament from the Red Raiders position. And this is one of the things, you asked me what I thought about the tournament as a whole. I mean, I don't like how this bracket works at all. You still, if you win tonight, you still have to win Thursday and Friday still just to get to the championship game. That's really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we are also the 10th.
For example, UCF, because they're 2 spots higher than the Red Raiders when the seeding goes.
Mm-hmm.
They get today off. So the path for them, I get it for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, the 1 and 2 seed, that the path is easier and they get the bye and all that. But this cockamamie bracket, UCF is 2 spots lower than you. They were 8 in the seeding. They get today off. Like, it's just a bye for them because Tech was the lower seed. It's just it's just a weird bracket. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. You'll hear Red Raider baseball tonight as they take on Oklahoma State in the winner's bracket of the Big 12 tournament. Tech winning over Texas last night 6-4. Here's the skipper, Tim Tadlock, with his thoughts after the win last night.
The guys really stuck with it. Thought Kyle went in and went out and really competed, pitch to pitch, and kind of kept us in it there early. And guys executed pitches, out of the bullpen, and had some big swings. Obviously, McGee had a real big one there at the end, and Green had a big one in the middle to tie the game. Not every day you're going to get a 3-run home run, right? And we'll take them, though.
Yeah, you haven't had very many 3-run home runs with 2 outs, and I think you said it really well, Jamie, about the 4th inning and how they were able to kind of keep that inning alive and put themselves in a position where Green could come up and get a big home run like that. It was a massive blast too. You may have known it was a home run right off the bat.
Right off the bat, it felt like it was going out.
Yeah. So tonight they'll take on Oklahoma State, and Coach Tadlock was asked about facing the Cowboys after the 2 games that they played, just not that long ago.
Yeah, really looking at it, thought there was a really good chance it was going to be them today, and then ended up being Texas. And Josh and Rob, those guys do a great job. They've done a great job for a long time up there, and they got really good players and a lot of tradition with their program, and they swung the bats awful good against us when we were up there. We didn't miss many barrels, and credit to them. They put together really good at bats. They pitched good, but that was a couple weeks ago, and again, these guys are embracing every day, and there's not anybody in this league where you can go, hey, this is an easy one. They're all good. You got to go earn the right to win, and Oklahoma State's no different. They're obviously got a lot of firepower. They hit some. I think they hit 7 against us in one game, if I'm remembering right. I try to forget those bad ones, right? And so we'll just it's a new day tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll be ready to play. We'll be ready to play. It'll be good competition.
You have your keys for tonight's game yet, Jamie, in your head?
No. Keys for tonight.
Keep the ball in the ballpark. That'd be one, right?
Yeah, they really, really, hit it well against you last time. It just felt like you never really put any pressure on them. They were comfortable the whole time as far as getting an early lead and then kind of cruising in the Friday night opener. And then on Saturday, you had the early lead in the top of the first, and then they immediately fought right back and tied it. And ultimately, it became a dogfight after that. So I'd love to see the Red Raiders get a lead and, I don't know, maybe put a little pressure. Those teams that are the higher seeds, sometimes when those games get late and they're close, maybe they feel a little bit pressure more than the lower seed does. So find a way to make them uncomfortable. Yeah,
because, you almost got to have that got nothing to lose kind of mentality. I'm sure that the collar will feel a little tight for you when if you get down or if you lose a game, knowing that you lose another one, your season is over. But, you're not playing with house money by any stretch of the imagination. But, they've got a lot that they're playing for. They're trying to justify having games at home and, being both them and Oklahoma having games at home. So maybe it does. Maybe they do start to feel it a little bit more if you could jump out to a lead and kind of get your starting pitcher to kind of groove in there. Do you get the sense that you said earlier that you thought maybe Parker Hutera would get the start? If he gets the start, you get the sense that you'll use a lot of arms today because he might only go 2 or 3 innings.
It depends on how Parker Hutera pitches. I really, I'm not sure how long he'll go because, he's been a reliever. So I guess you would lean towards thinking what you said, Chuck, but I do feel like they've tried to stretch him out over the last couple times. So maybe he could give you 4 or 5 if he kept his pitch count down. It would all depend on how he did in those innings.
Hey, so how does the roster work? Do you have to declare your roster for each game, or do you have to declare it for the tournament? In other words, can you move players in and out of your roster for each game?
No, you declare before the tournament.
Okay. And then if somebody gets injured, do you have the chance to replace that person on the roster?
I don't know if that's the case or not.
Okay.
My guess is no.
Okay.
It's not like in the big leagues.
Yeah, where you can move in and out pretty readily. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, your reaction. Seems like what the Red Raiders lacked all season was confidence. Maybe we can build on the big win against Texas.
Yeah, sure. I agree with the text that you did look like a team that at times struggled with your confidence, and you should take a little bit away from last night. It should have been fun. It should have made you relax a little bit, but again, this is still a major uphill climb. For you to win this thing, you won last night. You got to win tonight, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. You got to win 4 more. So, and if you lose one along the way to try to win, then you're going to throw an extra game into the mix. So that would be 5 more games. Knowing the struggles that you have with the depth in your pitching staff right now, that's a really, really big uphill climb.
Yeah, it's a tall order, no doubt. Let's see.
We're sitting here talking about today about like how you get through game 2,
mm-hmm.
and you got to win 5. Yeah, that's tough.
Somebody asked earlier if Kyle Robinson would be available to pitch on Saturday.
I would assume so. Yeah, like a bullpen session or whatever, not in a 100-pitch outing like he had last night, but I'm sure he could probably give you 30 or 40 or something like that.
Yeah, if you needed that.
Let's hope we get to the point where we're talking about that on Saturday.
Right. You're going to worry about that on Friday, right? Or maybe even Saturday morning. But, here we are. It's Wednesday. You can't get too high on things. Tech will take on Oklahoma State tonight in second round of the Big 12 tournament. we'll have it for you at 7, balls and strikes at 7:30 this evening. So that Big 12 tournament will continue this morning, and it gets underway at 9 a.m. an elimination game for Kansas State and West Virginia. It's for an elimination game for those two teams, and then TCU and Oklahoma will play. If TCU loses, then they're done, and Oklahoma advances on. Cincinnati and Texas will play at 4 o'clock today. If those two teams, the loser of those two teams is done, and then Tech and Oklahoma State will conclude the proceedings tonight at 7:30. Games get underway on Thursday at 12:30, at least as far as one game is scheduled for 12:30. Kansas will play at 12:30. And
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, we're going to go Red Raider football here this morning. Change of pace. I want you to tell me 3 things you think you know about the 2024 football team.
2024 football team, 3 things I think I know. Feel really great about the running game with Taj Brooks coming back. Feel like that you've really shored up your receiving core. And I feel like everybody's concerned about your quarterback and his health.
Those are good ones. Yeah, I would agree on all 3 parts of that.
Dang it.
I feel like I stole one of Jeff's.
2. Okay, so I'll give you the one that you didn't steal. As much as your defense has changed, I trust your linebackers right now more than I think I have in quite some time with what you've got returning. That is going to be where the core of your defense is this year, is in your linebacking core. I think this is the easiest schedule I have seen for a Texas Tech football team in I don't know how long. And a third thing that isn't Taj Brooks or Baron Morton. You got a lot of questions to answer on your defensive backs. I don't know what that answer is going to be yet, but you got some questions there.
Okay. My first one was that the strength of your defense will be your linebackers. I feel pretty confident in that. Jeff, you had kind of touched on that as well. Somebody on the chat line mentioned the linebackers as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing to me. So that's number 1 on my list. Number 2 on my list is, I want it to be the wide receiver position, but the question marks with the health of your quarterback have me, that factors in big time. So I think I don't know that I can, even though I think you're more explosive and have the potential to be, I don't know that I can say I truly know that because I'm worried about the quarterback position. So number 2 on my list is more about the running game, and that it will not take you as long to figure out what you do well this year. And what I mean by that is I think you'll see more of Taj early than we saw early last year. So that would be number 2 on my list. And number 3 on my list goes to the schedule. I think I know that this is a really, really beneficial schedule to the Red Raiders. It has you set up for having a great season as long as you come through, as long as your quarterback's healthy, all of those things. But I think it's one of the most advantageous schedules that the Red Raiders have had in a long time.
Somebody asked this question off the chat line. Why would you say a lot of questions for defensive back? Tech does return 2 of 4 starters there, but you lost a couple starters there too that were huge players for you
and huge leaders for you. And that goes with part of it. Like, it's not just the ability what those guys had. It's not just what they brought to the team and their position, but what they brought to the defense, the influence they had on the guys around them. Like, a lot of questions. And who's going to be those other two guys that step up? And how are the leaders of that group going to form? And what kind of player are you going to get out of those guys compared to what you got out of last year? There's a lot of questions there. It's not just about, we got half of them coming back. Yeah, but it was a big half you lost.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got a couple of questions there. Not that you really want to worry about this, but you've also got to replace your punter. I mean that's.
I hope we don't use him.
I know. I know.
Not worried about the punter.
I know.
Austin was great. Loved Austin. He was a weapon for you at times. He was definitely the best player on the field you had at times. Hope we don't have to worry about it.
But go ahead, Jamie.
I just think there are so many other things that are worthy of worrying about compared to the punter. Yeah. You want to be good in that area, don't get me wrong, and he clearly was really good. But anyway, it's just it's a situation that's just lower down my list.
No, I got you. Just trying to throw something out that's a little bit different. Just a little bit different. Somebody says this: I believe the most significant bottleneck is definitely the quarterback, unless you have an exceptionally strong defense to keep you competitive in the games. Well, I think that is going to be a concern as you're going into the season. Just the health and can he stay healthy once you get in to the games themselves, and what's your offensive line going to look like, and can you keep him upright? This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, shifting back to baseball. Jamie, you need to throw your weight around and get them to stop having these games that end at midnight. Us old guys can't stay awake. That from Syntex Hank.
Yeah, I would love for them to finish earlier too. No doubt.
Yeah, so it kind of is what it is. This, I was hoping UT would be put off stride with having the long delay to start the game. It didn't with the early home run by Texas, but Tech and Woodcocks answered back each time. It was a very entertaining game, especially since the good guys won and beating UT in potentially their last meeting as Big 12 members. Keep it going, Red Raiders. Guns up and wreck 'em. Yeah.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We come to you from the First United Bank studio this morning and look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can go to Double T 97.3.com for that, of the mobile app. Jamie, we get this from Sooner in Lubbock. I'd still be in bed, Jamie. And Sooner in Lubbock, I met him the other day. He revealed himself to me at an event that I was at. Speaking at the Young Phenoms class for Career Day. He told me that the Young Phenom told me that he was a listener, and then he said, I might text in from time to time as Sooner in Lubbock. And I went,
he might.
I went, da, da, da. Connected those dots in my head, Jamie. So now I know who Sooner in Lubbock is.
What did you need to connect? I mean, he told you the secret.
Well, he said he might be.
Well, that was some gumshoe research.
It was, right. Yeah, it was. Because I think some had thought that Sooner in Lubbock was the one, the only David Collier. But there's more than one Sooner in Lubbock.
No, this Sooner's got a personality unlike the other one.
Yeah.
David has got burner accounts. They're burner.
Has to.
Yeah.
Right.
And most of them, he's goofing on the two of us.
Yeah.
With
right.
those accounts. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Jamie,
I 100% believe David Collier has a burner account to the Yates Flooring Center chat line.
Yeah. And you didn't want me to get lonely because you said, as we saw last Friday, it gets a little crazy on this show when I don't show up.
It's a little wild and woolly.
Does get a little. We kind of tend to get a little out of. We color outside the lines, Jamie. Color.
That's a good way to describe it.
We color outside the lines.
You and Sneed usually have a lot of fun. I mean, that's more than coloring outside the lines. That's just like taking a bucket of paint and just tossing it at the wall, right?
Sometimes, yeah. But, I've discovered that can happen with others as well, including Rob Bro. That got a little wild and woolly, but we'll see what happens for that when it's all said and done. Red Raiders win last night 6-4 over Texas. They'll take on Oklahoma State tonight. So no rest for the weary. It looked like they were having fun, and it looked like at the end, of course, it's always fun when you win, right? It's always fun when you win. But it looked like there was a little mild celebration, and they looked very energized at the end of the game last night.
Yeah, I mean, it was an exciting way to win, I think. And, just being honest, there hasn't been a lot to be excited about of late for this team. So it was nice to see the guys just be in a good mood, somebody made a big play. And, I had just said when you moved when you moved Gavin Cash down to second base on the sacrifice bunt, I'm like, okay, you got the leadoff man on, you got him over. Now somebody's got to make a play, and you had a couple of guys coming up in McGee and Green that you felt good about, that one of them would give you a shot, but we haven't seen that enough this year, right? In those clutch situations. I mean, this is the same thing we saw at times at UCF. It's the same thing we saw, against TCU. It was the same thing in the final game against not Houston, but Oklahoma, where it's like, okay, you're in position. You've got that man in scoring position to tie the game, win the game, whatever. Who can get the job done? And Cade McGee got the job done. No doubt.
Yeah. And
so that was really nice to see. It was nice to see the guys excited, down there on the field. It was nice to see them have a pep in their step at dinner and it not be silent in the room, and everybody just be quiet. Guys were laughing, and it's, again, I know it's still a tough task that's in front of them, but you want those guys to have some fun, and I think they definitely did last night.
Yeah, and then the Sterling defense in the Texas half of the ninth inning, Will Burns with a really hard play in kind of a Bermuda Triangle zone of short left field, and having to backpedal back, and lost his cap, and putting his glove up and finding the ball in the lights and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that ball drops, and all of a sudden they've got the tying run at the plate, and the next thing you know, because the way your season is gone, that ball would have fallen in, right? Or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the way things have gone this year, Chuck. I mean, even up 6-4 going to the ninth. I mean, I'm like, this is a coin flip still. Whether you're winning this game or not. And it was good because, even the first ball was not super easy over to Gavin Cash at first base, but you got that first out and you're like, okay, I always feel like in a comeback situation like that, the first out's so incredibly important. And when you get the leadoff guy out, and you did that, and then you're like, okay, sigh a little bit. And then Baloo comes to the plate, the conference player of the year. And that was just a great play by Burns, because off the bat, I thought neither one of the Red Raiders had a chance, the shortstop or the left fielder. So great play by Burns. And then the next ball was just one of those where we've had struggles with all season long, just finding a hole, find the right spot. And if you don't make that play, you got the tie and run come into the plate and start to question and worry and wonder and all those things. But McGee makes a great play. So it was cool to see that game end that way.
Yeah. And then, and then the play that Caden McGee made to end the game, barehanding it and throwing it over to first. And that just looked like maybe inject a little confidence into this team and hope that it carries over to today, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Just hope that it carries over to today. All right, we'll have Tech and Oklahoma State tonight, 7 o'clock scheduled broadcast time. Remember, there's 3 other games ahead of you, so could get pushed back a skosh. First pitch scheduled for 7:30. We'll talk a little basketball next here this morning on the Morning Drive with the Red Raiders, as Jamie mentioned during the Boom Boom Boom, officially signing Christian Anderson Jr. And so he'll be coming to the Big Red Spread, and there's more to come as well with that. And
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.